still trying to figure out all this TikTok live and YouTube live, all the social media stuff. Reverse hinge front hood so we can get these Lambo door hinges in. I had to notch a little bit out of the body to clear. Thanks, I'm happy to inspire. Just get out there and get it done. I just cut some brackets on my plasma table. I made the holes a little bit small so I can tap them for the screws for these. Here's a practice cut just to make sure my holes were lining up, so I can get the plate on and then weld the plate with some structure inside there. I was thinking of maybe putting a tube and welding it to the A-pillar and going across the top, and then bend down and weld it to the support for the fender. And then maybe another one off going to the other side of the wheel well, right here, or the firewall, and come up to the back of the plate, and then maybe another one over there to come up and back to the plate. That way it's supported from, twisting. It'll have two supports from the back and one across the top. And I'll tie the one in on top to the A-pillar and then to the drip rail, and then it'll swoop down and weld right to the fender support, which I have 3 points of contact and made this body flare, so it's really strong right here. I might weld a plate just so the sheet metal's not taking the brunt of the force. But they came with these little mounting screws that slide through. So I'm going to tap those plates so that I can screw the hinge right to the backing plate. Finally got my 1/4 inch cut file down. It's making, I mean, I don't know if they're pretty square. Tiny bevel on that one. That one's pretty square. Holes are perfectly round. Cut out another bracket out of a scrap piece. That's for a friend of mine. Took a F100 body and put it on a decommissioned police Crown Vic, and I got to mount the steering column up to the dashboard. So I'm going to go over there and mount that to the factory steering wheel mount, and then line up the other one and drill holes and put bolts through, just to get it driving, so that we can get it over here where I have all my tools and we can finish it up. My welder and everything's over here. I can't do much over there. Love Bug. They are the funnest cars. I think people underestimate small cars, small trucks. I love them. I don't care for big trucks, big motors, big diesels. I mean, I appreciate them for what they are, and they have a purpose, but I don't think it's necessary to drive one all the time. Unless you're doing, big truck stuff all the time, or big car stuff. You got a big family, you need a big car, This is just a toy. Exactly. Power to weight ratio. I think people underestimate the power that you can get out of tiny cars. Sometimes it takes an engine swap, to something else, but that something else still came out of another small car. Fix my mustache. Yeah, driving manual by the tach. I always do it by sound and feel. You can tell when a motor's being way overused. Yeah, 2100. It's a big motor. I'm building a 2276. I'm building the 2276 stroker, flat 4, air-cooled Volkswagen motor. I've already got the built tranny in. This is a Pro Street built tranny, lots of mods. It's an IRS converted to swing. The throwout bearings been fully welded all the way around. One of my other subscribers brought that to my attention. I didn't build the transmission. A friend of mine did. It's the only thing I haven't built on the car. But it's supposed to have a taller first and fourth. It's not a freeway flyer. This is a Pro Street racing transmission. Beefed up. I got chromoly axles, one-piece boots, converted the whole car to disc brake all the way around. Designed my own airbag system for it. All these supports and drop links, I hand built all this. Engineered it, cut it on my plasma table, got them in there. Shortened struts, a little note so I don't forget to check the axle pin. These are sidewall to sidewall, 16-inch wide, DOT approved track slicks. These are Nito track tires, so they barely have any tread. That's just so we can get them DOT approved to drive on the street. And they are huge. I don't know if it's too dark. There you go. Massive. Yeah, I see the caliper. Completely rebuilt the front beam, pulled the torsion plates out, did through rods like a Baja. So I got full range of motion with no resistance, because these are air struts. These are air over strut. They have a bag in them. The car's slammed all the way down right now with no air in it. Which, because of the swing axle, you can't drive it like that for long, because the gear oil in the transmission is what lubricates your wheel bearings. But it gives you that sweet camber when you park it. No, I'm going to spray it in satin black Raptor truck bed liner. And then it'll have purple accents. Like this is purple, steering box, skid plate. All the little scoops are painted purple. I'm building another snorkel up here. On the roof. And then it'll slope down into the visor. Working on mocking up the visor shape. But I'm going to do the truck bed liner because I'm going to run open wheel in the front. It's all the rocks and chip paint, and it won't chip that bed liner. Is the snorkel going to be functional? That I haven't decided yet. It doesn't need to be. And it would honestly be easier to paint and bodywork and everything else if it wasn't functional. I'm running open engine bay just like this. Protect the motor, and then I'm going to smooth out all this firewall, clean it up, make it look nice. Just kind of taking all my from all the different styles. I'm gonna hide all the tail lights in the grill. It's gonna be backlit, the entire grill, with running, brakes, blinkers, all that. So that whole thing will light up underneath there. I knew this was going to be a pain, and it is, but it'll get done. Getting it to line up and weld it in there. I'm hoping now that I have the backing plates, the mounting plates cut out, I can get them tapped, get them screwed to this, and get this positioned. I have some adjustments on it as far as how far that drops or goes up or comes out. I mean, there's adjustments all the way around, but in the end, when I build this panel back, it's going to have to stick out 2 inches, maybe more. I'm not sure on the swing yet until I can get that hard mounted and it attached to the door. I don't know what the full range of motion is going to be. But when I do build the panel back, I also have to build it removable, because I'm going to have to be able to adjust all these stops and everything if they vibrate loose, or you know how it goes. But everything's accessed from the outside, not the inside. So I think I'll put a hinge across the top, and the whole panel will swing up and out of the way, and I'll put a pin lock down there. Stiffen the panel so it doesn't flap or vibrate, and it should work if I hinge it right in the middle, because it has a little bit of an arc, to it. So I can't hinge it on both sides, it'll bind. But I think if I hinge it right in the middle, I can get it to swing up. This is a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle, or what's left of it anyway. Honda Civic seats. So I've got the high backs, if you know Volkswagens. I've got high backs for it already, but I'm going to chop them down to low backs and then have them upholstered as low backs. So they'll be a little bit slimmer and a little more shape to them than a standard early low back was pretty much just a square, flat square. But I don't want to see the seats. I want the backs of the seats to be even with the bottom of the window all the way across. The cars are already so tiny that once you stick high backs in there and it takes up all that space, it makes the interior look bad, really bad. But I get it, they serve a purpose. You in car accident, you want your head to snap back, or whatever. But this is an art piece, it's a show car. I'll hopefully take it to some car shows, win some trophies, get my name out there more. I just put stops on that so it holds itself up. I've still got to, I've got these rods tacked in there, kind of holding the nose down. I still have to make a bracket to bolt so that the nose doesn't flop around. It's bolted at the factory points here and there. This is temporary brace. I haven't cut out yet. I'm going to build a 2276 stroker, flat 4, air-cooled Volkswagen engine. 200 horsepower. Should be plenty to move, you know, less than 2,000 pounds. I think stock, these are like 1750, I think, if I remember right. But I've cut a lot out, but I am putting some back. So I'm hoping that I'll end up pretty much breaking even around the 1,800 pound mark with 200 horsepower. Should be plenty to scoot this little tin can. Yeah, stock was 1,600. The first ones were 1,300s. And then I think they went to 1,500 and then a 1,600. But I know the early ones were 1,300. And then they had single relief and dual relief cases. But the biggest factory motor that they built for this was a 1,600 dual port, and I think it had like 40 brake horsepower, so it was probably like more like 30 horsepower at the wheel maybe. And I'm gonna build a 2276 with 200 horsepower, which is why I had to get the tranny built. I'd grenade a stock tranny with a motor that size. Got the case right there. It's a fresh cast, all aluminum, reinforced bubble top. A bunch of other parts, intercoolers, intakes, carburetors, throttle linkage, deep sump, fuel tank, just in case I can't fit the factory one back in there. I got a smaller 5-gallon. But I've got the heads. I've got most of the engine to start building it. I'm just trying to finish all this body work, especially while it's nice outside. You got to translate to English. Pops right off. Look at that. Can't do it one-handed. Get these cleaned up. I cut the holes way smaller so I could tap them for the little mounting bolts. Yeah, broken throttle cables, that sucks. My dad was telling me a story. He had a shoelace outside tied to the throttle, and then it was tied to like a bottle, soda bottle, and he had his arm out the window and he was pulling the throttle. Thank you for translating. I appreciate it. I got to get some kind of structure in here to support all this bracket. Cutting the A-pillar out. It's actually not that hollow. It's pretty much pinched together from here to here on the A-pillar, and then it separates right here, which is good because I can rod and weld that to reinforce it, and I can come off of here across to reinforce it. I got to delete these drip rails and get them out of the way. They're going to be in the way there and back here, I think. So I'm just going to delete the whole drip rail. It's getting there. Slowly but surely. Yeah, lots of people have lots of stories. About these Volkswagens. I'm gonna hide all the headlights in there. Everybody keeps asking, will you put a hood scoop on there for the engine's in the back? It's because it's not for the engine, it's to hide the headlights. I've got micro lights. I'm gonna line up 4 on each side. That way I don't have anything sticking up over here. But I just wanted to give a little update. I'm going to get back to work on these and try and get them figured out. Thanks for watching.